Thank you, Lord Provost. Lord Provost, item number 7 is motions, and the first motion is by Councillor Christina Cannon.
Christina Cannon, you have 5 minutes, please. Please, everyone stick to their time with motions so that everyone can get their voices heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord Provost. It's only right that during Pride Month that we dedicate the first 45 minutes on our substantial agenda to the LGBT community, particularly in this case, LGBT young people in our city, although I'm looking forward to coming back to Pride in a wider context a bit later on. And yes, this Pride Month, we should celebrate all the hard-fought wins the LGBT community has achieved, but this cannot be without setting out action on how we intend to go further, because settling for basic human rights just isn't enough anymore. For example, in 2021, Scotland was the first country in the world to agree to embed LGBT inclusive education throughout the school curriculum, but currently homophobia remains one of the most common forms of prejudice in primary and secondary schools, and this is why I wanted to bring this motion as the Council's education convener, because evidence shows that an educational approach can address this. Many colleagues in the Chamber will be familiar with the TIE campaign, and I'll come on to the work that the charity do in a minute, but first I want to thank the charity's co-founders, Jordan and Liam, for the work they do personally to improve the experiences of LGBT young people right across the country. Just last week, for example, I popped into the Pride Light event held jointly with our team here in the Council and seen Jordan and Liam engaging so positively with the pupils from various schools, helping them celebrate their identity and providing an opportunity to learn from and network with each other. They really are impressive role models for young people in this city and beyond. TIE has developed, launched and now manages the new national platform lgbteducation.scot on behalf of the Scottish Government to provide free resources for schools and teachers to support the effective implementation of inclusive education in each individual school setting. This resource is underpinned by the Scottish Government's 2-stage CPD course for primary and secondary teachers, and this approach, co-developed by teachers, sets to include LGBT-related learning themes in ordinary teaching in a natural and meaningful way in order to prevent stereotypes and stigma from arising in the first place. The Scottish Government provide core funding for this resource, and there is a national expectation that this is what all schools will work towards. Today, this motion sets Glasgow's target at 100% for teachers completing this training to meet that national expectation and ensure Glasgow continues to lead the way on being a safe and welcoming city for everyone, because every single young person in this city, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, deserves to learn in an environment where they are safe, respected and celebrated. And I just want to highlight that this is not an additional responsibility. This is absolutely core to the vision that we have for young people in this city, particularly those who are LGBT or perceived to be LGBT, and a safe environment is the least we can do. I also want to pay tribute to the successful efforts of officers in education in already encouraging a significant number of teachers to complete the learning modules and hosting other events to promote inclusive education, such as Pride Light that I mentioned earlier, attending training offered by Stonewall to create trans-inclusive schools, and hosting Allies 23, working in partnership with organisations which facilitated a series of citywide events with a focus on support and learning for LGBT children and young people, professional learning and curricular development. And I know our staff have been on the receiving end of some abuse online recently for promoting these events, so I want to thank everyone in the department and our teachers in schools who work every day on behalf of our young people despite these challenges. The Scottish Government's approach, and indeed our approach, is in complete contrast with UK governments on this issue if leaked reports are to be believed. And it's no secret that this would be particularly disastrous for young trans people who don't deserve to be dead named, misgendered or have their safety put at risk. Politicians at all levels have responsibility to challenge this hatred and bigotry and not spread fear and misinformation that feeds into a right-wing culture war. So there's never been a better time for a motion like this. Next month, thousands of people will march through Glasgow streets for Pride, but you only need to look at some of the rhetoric online today to see how quickly we can go backwards on hard-fought rights. We cannot be complacent. We need to make a conscious effort to keep pushing and keep fighting, particularly for the younger generation. It's a pleasure to move my name in the motion, my motion in my name, Lord Provost.